Right now, at this exact moment, someone is thinking about you. And I'm not talking about your mom wondering if you ate today. I'm talking about someone whose heart literally races when your name pops up on their phone. Someone who replays your conversations at 2 in the morning. Someone whose first name starts with a letter that's going to make your jaw hit the floor. And before you scroll away thinking this is some generic nonsense, let me tell you something that stopped me cold when I found out. Psychologists at the University of Kansas published a study that found it takes roughly 90 hours of interaction for someone to consider you a friend, but only a fraction of a second, literally 400 milliseconds, for the brain to decide romantic attraction. 400 milliseconds. You blink slower than that, which means someone around you already made that decision about you, and you had absolutely no clue it happened. Here's what makes this even crazier. According to behavioral research, 70% of people who are secretly in love with someone never confess. 70%. That means the odds are overwhelmingly stacked in favor of someone right now carrying feelings for you that they've locked behind a smile, a joke, or an awkward silence you probably didn't even notice. And today, I'm going to hand you the keys to figuring out exactly who that person is. By the end of this video, you'll know the signs they've been dropping, the psychology behind why they've been hiding it, and yes, the first letter of their name is coming. But I'm not handing it to you in the first 2 minutes because, honestly, the letter means nothing without context. What I'm about to walk you through is the full picture, and trust me, the letter is going to hit different once you understand everything leading up to it. So stay with me, because by the time I reveal that letter, you're going to already have a face in your mind. And that realization alone is worth every second. Let's start with something that's gonna sting a little. You've probably already seen the signs. You just didn't recognize them for what they were. There's this thing in psychology called inattentional blindness. It's the phenomenon where you fail to notice something fully visible because your attention is focused elsewhere. The classic experiment had people watching a basketball game and counting passes. A person in a gorilla suit literally walked through the middle of the court, and half the participants didn't see it. A full-grown gorilla costume. Invisible. That's what's happening with the person who's in love with you. They're the gorilla. Not in appearance, obviously, that would be rude, but in the sense that their signals are right there, plain as day, and you've been too focused on other things to catch them. So let me point out what you've been missing. Sign number 1. They remember the small stuff, not your birthday. Everyone remembers birthdays because social media reminds them. I'm talking about the weird, insignificant details. The fact that you don't put ice in your water. The name of your childhood pet. That random story you told once about getting lost in a grocery store when you were 6. When someone files away those micro details, that's not friendship. That's someone building an emotional archive of you. They're collecting pieces of who you are because every piece matters to them. Sign number 2. Their body betrays them. A study from the journal Psychological Science found that when someone is attracted to you, their pupils dilate up to 45% larger than normal. They literally cannot control it. Their body does it on autopilot. Their body does it without permission. And here's a subtle one that most people never catch. When someone is secretly in love with you, they mirror your movements. You cross your arms, they cross theirs. You lean forward, they lean forward. You take a sip of your drink, and 3 seconds later, they're reaching for theirs. It's subconscious synchronization. Their brain is literally trying to match your rhythm because on a primal level, mirroring signals safety and connection. They're not doing it on purpose. Their nervous system has already chosen you. Sign number 3, the teasing. Oh, the teasing. This one is so obvious and yet so wildly misunderstood. If someone consistently gives you a hard time, playful jabs, sarcastic comments, nicknames that are borderline insulting but somehow still make you laugh, that's not them being rude. That's flirting with training wheels on. Studies on humor and attraction show that people use teasing as a low-risk way to test chemistry. If you laugh, they feel safe. If you tease back, their brain registers mutual interest. It's basically emotional ping pong, and they've been serving aces you didn't even realize were in play. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because the next few signs are the ones that separate someone who just finds you attractive from someone who is genuinely, hopelessly in love with you. And that distinction matters, because the letter I'm about to reveal belongs to someone in the second category. Sign number 4. They get weird when you mention other people. Not dramatic, not possessive, just weird. There's a shift. Maybe their energy dips for a second. Maybe they change the subject a little too smoothly. Maybe they suddenly become very interested in their phone. Dr. Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist who spent decades studying the brain in love, explains that romantic love activates the same brain regions as addiction, literally the same circuits. So when the person they're fixated on mentions someone else, it triggers a mini withdrawal response. They can't help it. Their mood flickers, even if only for a moment. And you've seen this happen. Think back. There was a moment, a conversation where you brought up someone else and the vibe shifted. You probably brushed it off. You shouldn't have. Sign number 5. They show up. Not in the romantic comedy, standing outside your window with a boombox way. In the quiet, consistent, I brought you coffee because you mentioned you were tired way. In the, I know you had a rough week, so here's a meme that I thought would make you laugh way. Love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's someone quietly rearranging their schedule to be available when you need them, and hoping you don't notice how much effort it actually takes. Research on attachment theory backs this up. People with secure attachment styles express love through reliability. They don't perform grand gestures. They just keep showing up. And if someone in your life has been doing this, being there without being asked, offering help without making it a big deal, staying when others would have left, that's not coincidence. That's devotion wearing casual clothes. Sign number 6, the way they say your name. This one is going to sound strange, but hear me out. There is a documented vocal shift that happens when someone says the name of a person they have feelings for. A study published in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior found that people unconsciously soften their tone, slow their speech, and slightly raise their pitch when addressing someone they're attracted to. It's involuntary. It's subtle, but it's real. So think about how this person says your name, not what they say, how they say it. Is there a warmth there? A slight pause before it, as if your name carries weight? That's not nothing, that's everything. Okay? I know what you're thinking. Just tell me the letter already. And I will, I promise. But before I do, there's one more sign I need to cover because this one is the most telling of all, and it's going to help you confirm exactly who this person is once the letter drops. Sign number 7. They've told you they love you without ever saying the words. This is the big one. Some people never say, I love you directly. Instead, they say it through 1,000 smaller sentences. Text me when you get home. Have you eaten? I saw this and thought of you. Be careful. You deserve better. Linguistics researchers call these indirect speech acts, statements where the literal meaning is surface level, but the intended meaning runs much deeper. And the person who's been saying these things to you, they're not just being nice. They're doing what 70% of people in love do, communicating their feelings in code because the risk of saying it plainly feels too enormous. Now, the letter. I told you at the beginning that the first letter of this person's name would shock you. And the reason it's going to shock you is not because it's unexpected. It's because it's going to confirm something you've suspected, but never let yourself fully believe. The letter is actually, hold on. Before I say it, I want you to do something for me. I want you to think of 3 people. 3 people who came to mind at any point during this video. The ones who fit 2, 3, maybe even all 7 of those signs. Line them up in your head. Got them? Good. The first letter of this person's name falls in the range of M through S. And statistically, here's why that's going to hit home for a lot of you. An analysis of global name frequency data, compiled from census records across 37 countries, shows that names beginning with M, N, R, and S dominate the top spots in almost every language and culture worldwide. The letter M alone accounts for nearly 11% of all first names globally. So the probability that someone in your close circle whose name starts with one of these letters is carrying feelings for you, it's astronomically high. But here's what really matters. The letter narrows it down, but the signs confirm it. If you went through those 7 signs and one person kept popping into your head, the same face, the same name, the same moments, then you already know. The letter didn't tell you anything new. It just gave you permission to believe what your gut has been screaming at you for weeks, maybe months. And that right there, that's the real shock, not the letter, the realization that you already knew. So let's bring this full circle. Someone is in love with you. The signs are there. The letter narrows it down. And the face that's been floating through your mind for the last several minutes? That's not random. Your subconscious pulled that person forward for a reason. So the obvious question becomes, what now? You've identified the signs. You've got the letter. A specific person is sitting in your mind right now, and for the first time, the idea that they might actually love you doesn't feel crazy. It feels possible, maybe even obvious. But here's where most people mess it up. They do one of two things. They either panic and pull away because feelings are terrifying, or they rush in too fast and scare the other person off. Both of those responses come from the same place: fear. Dr. Brené Brown, who spent over 2 decades researching vulnerability and human connection, says something that I think is painfully accurate. She says, "We are hardwired for connection, but the fear of being seen, truly seen, keeps us from the very thing we need most." That's what's happening here. You're afraid that if you acknowledge this, it changes everything. And you're right, it does. But everything changing isn't always a catastrophe. Sometimes it's a beginning. So here's my suggestion, and it's not some fluffy motivational poster advice. It's practical. Step 1. Observe with intention. Now that you know the signs, watch for them deliberately, not obsessively. There's a difference. Just pay attention over the next week or two. See if the patterns hold up. Step 2. Create space for honesty. You don't have to confess anything, but you can lower the walls just enough to signal that you're open. Ask them a question that's one level deeper than your usual conversation. Something that says, "I see you as more than background noise." Something like, "What's been on your mind lately?" You'd be surprised how much people reveal when they feel genuinely asked. Step 3. Trust the evidence. If someone remembers your small details, mirrors your movements, softens their voice when they say your name, and shows up for you consistently, that's not ambiguity. That's a verdict. The evidence is in. The only thing left is whether you're brave enough to accept it. And before I wrap this up, let me address the elephant in the room. If this person really loves you, why haven't they just said so? Because the human brain is a beautiful, cowardly masterpiece. Neuroimaging studies show that the fear of romantic rejection activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex and the insula, the brain regions responsible for processing physical suffering, light up identically whether you stub your toe or hear, "I don't feel the same way." The brain literally cannot distinguish between a broken bone and a broken heart. So this person isn't being secretive because they don't care. They're being secretive because they care too much. The stakes feel too high. Losing you as a friend, as a constant in their life, as the person whose name makes their voice soften, that risk feels worse than keeping quiet. They've done the math, and silence feels safer than the possibility of losing you entirely. But here's the irony. By staying silent, they're already losing moments with you. Every day they don't say something is a day spent watching you from a distance that didn't need to exist. And maybe, just maybe, you're doing the same thing to someone else right now. Funny how that works, isn't it? Now, I want you to do one thing for me. Not subscribe, not hit a bell. I mean, you can if you want. I won't stop you, but that's not what this is about. Here's what I actually want. I want you to screenshot this video, send it to that person, and say nothing. No caption, no explanation. Just send it. If they watch it and text you back something like, "Why did you send me this?" That reaction alone will tell you everything. And if they watch it and go quiet, well, silence is its own answer, and sometimes it's the loudest one. That's your move. Not a subscription button, a real human action that might change something real. Now, speaking of understanding the people around you, and this is important, not every sign of affection is genuine. Sometimes what looks like love is actually manipulation. And knowing the difference can save you years of pain. That's exactly why you need to watch this next video right here on your screen. If a woman tells you these 5 things, leave her immediately. Because while today we talked about recognizing real love, that video is going to protect you from the counterfeit version. And honestly, these 2 videos together give you the complete picture. How to spot someone who truly loves you, and how to spot someone who's only pretending to. You cannot afford to know one without the other. It's playing right now. Click it. Your future self will thank you.